Last night, anything happened? I took a nap, so I missed the news.
Where you been at?
Well, it was a heck of a weekend. Ooh, a lot of emotions.
Okay. Ask me the same questions you asked me 15 years ago.
Well, me?
Oh.
Listen, man, we trying to win a championship here. I don't have time to give advice to other guys.
I am so thrilled to be here.
When I get in the car, I'm dad, I'm a wife, I'm a husband. Ooh, I'm tripping. I was about to say I have a wife.
Am I allowed to say that? Is that tampering?
It's like 6th grade. We're going to go around the room and what was your summer vacation? What did you do?
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
If my son went to another team and we was playing against each other, I'm not giving him shit.
A lot of answers at today's NBA Media Days, but we still got questions. So many questions. We're going to bring in our intrepid, dedicated NBA reporters who
Look at that picture right there.
Media Days. Look at that, 5 wide. And Brian Windhorst, we start with you and the Cavs. All right, with a healthy Isaiah Thomas, maybe D-Wade's on the way. Does this have the potential to be the best team LeBron has had as a Cavalier?
You know, Jemele, I can't say the best team, but I will say this. It's going to be the deepest team. This is definitely across the board at every position. Remember how the Cavs were called top-heavy by LeBron? They're not top-heavy. They're square across the board. But he is really focused on this season. He said he just had the best offseason he's had in years. He was reinvigorated by going to his kids' games. Remember those videos you saw of him going crazy?
Yeah.
It got him re-energized in basketball, he said. Well, I think you're going to see the product on the court. And without Kyrie and with Isaiah Thomas injured, you could see LeBron James re-enter the MVP race early in the season, if I believe what I hear from him.
All right, Wendy, way to bring it. Jeff Goodman, you up next with the Celtics with only 4 players remaining on the roster from last season. How much of an adjustment period should we expect from Brad Stevens and the Celtics?
You know, think about this, guys. Marcus Smart is the longest tenured Boston Celtic right now, and he's going into year 4. So it's going to take some time. I mean, they added Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum's going to play big minutes, Jaylen Brown's going to get extensive role. So it's going to take time, especially on the defensive end, where they've still got to figure things out after losing Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder. Marcus Morris isn't even with the team right now because he's dealing with a court case right now in Arizona. So this Celtics team, Brad Stevens has the task of trying to gel them and gel them fairly quickly.
All right, thanks, Jeff, for the info. Now, Ian Begley, we go to you. You were at Knicks Media Day. Let me ask you, now that you don't have Melo to cover this season, is Kristaps Porzingis, is he ready to be the face of the Knicks franchise?
He's mentally ready, Jemele, which I think is important, and physically he's making progress towards being that guy. But the biggest thing here is he will have time to go through growing pains as the number 1 option with the Knicks because there are 0 expectations for this team now that Carmelo is not here. For the last 2 seasons, I think management, namely Phil Jackson, was caught between the timelines of Carmelo Anthony and Kristaps Porzingis. But now with Melo in Oklahoma City, every decision management makes will be viewed through the prism of Kristaps Porzingis and his future. So the Knicks are looking at this thing as in the big picture, and they're looking at Kristaps Porzingis as their leader, and he says he's ready.
Fresh start in New York. All right, Royce. So, hypothetically speaking, if the Thunder were to bring back their big 3, you're talking about $300 million when you add payroll and luxury tax. We were talking earlier about the curious non-answer Russell Westbrook gave to the extension question earlier. So what are the chances that none of the big 3, Westbrook, George, or Carmelo, is on the Thunder roster after this season?
Michael, I'm going to put that answer at slim or very slim. Look, if you talk to most people around the team, around the league, they believe Russell Westbrook's going to sign this extension before October 16th. A lot of people believe this sooner than later. You look at what Westbrook said today. Yeah, there's a couple different reads you could take on that, but a lot of what it was is that Russell Westbrook's a busy man. He does things on his own time. As we all know, Russell Westbrook does what he wants, and it was going to take getting back into camp, getting back into Oklahoma City, walking through those doors, and actually making that decision. You know, one thing that's been suggested to me, Michael, if you're Russell Westbrook, and you're going to say no to the biggest contract extension in NBA history, don't you say it in August or July? Do you really show up in September right before the Thunder start this big season with Carmelo Anthony and Paul George? And do you really walk in the building and pop that balloon and deflate all the momentum they have? It seems like an unlikely proposition for a guy that is paraded around really kind of proclaiming himself the leader of this franchise.
Well put.
All right, Stefano Fusaro, you were at the Rockets Media Day. What's the Rockets' reaction to not being able to swing a deal for Carmelo Anthony?
Well, of course, we know that the Rockets were heavily involved in those discussions for Carmelo Anthony earlier this summer. But I did speak to several sources in the organization that actually told me that those negotiations got as close as actually locking down a third team to facilitate that trade, moving Carmelo from New York to Houston. Obviously, at the end of the day, that third team decided to back out. Now, Rockets GM Daryl Morey refused to confirm that report earlier today on Media Day, but he did express that both parties really were motivated to get that deal done earlier in the summer. Now, of course, one of Carmelo's best friends is the newest Rocket here, Chris Paul, and all he did today was really support his friend, told us that he sent a text message congratulating him on his move to OKC. Now, of course, he would have loved to have played ball with his fellow banana boat buddy here in Houston, but he maintains his confidence that this team, as currently constructed, is ready to take on some of the top teams in the West, mainly the Golden State Warriors.
All right, the West is going to be something special this year. So is QTNA. Nice job, guys. We all feel a lot smarter around here.